Lagara Nakut Lagara Duluni Napaka Lagara Lazy Toto Lagara Duluni Bakara Gujabi Lagara Nakut Lagara Duluni Napaka Badi Gwananga Bakara anything you Yakudiko Badi Gwananga Bakara Rosin Yakudiko
Kamala Saev, ni deka kuma ni bokora ni mtuma na pakadada kan Karamoja etiane ni etia to yakada jofa ayon Nakut Faith Loru Chuna a chamita kitalakar na oni kitawnyata epato kitawot ke akutu lo parliament chingole de tere membat ke parliament are pay alto meti chingolo awe kintin ke tuma ara winte portan ke tuma hola yari erai ayeren kidela nolo che erai I kor e budget e mai reunion kamala campagne amade ntin keda ma olo che la ngomon erai akman mane kritiye angebelinga hapukan e yeti ngolo che ngolo de on kariko kayiti ani kraw ya kariko nya ngatunga ni ngolo ndo ya ke zekiare lo dierno ni to di katamar o meke di kona eti chan kariko ngolo amara ni kerai ke e ganga kona so limo kinten kontunga tamari da ko ke denege o yara kona eti ko an kariko ko ngezi ngolo
ya paking ina anye vunur akalele ina anyamia ko bana ka pe tolimin abu porto lobu la parliament bio to doloki the parliament.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. I rise to raise an urgent matter on flooding in parts of Napak. It swept off many fields and it soaked crops, the harvested crops that had been, the produce that had been harvested. Now the food that had been harvested earlier cannot be transported to the nearest town. It is getting soaked. And there is no response for a complete month. That's the reason I raise it here. I pray that you use your authority so that the relevant ministries can take action to rescue the people of those parishes of Oblin, Harepua, and Achukudu. I need some answers to take to them now.
Anya paking apuruni awade. Eric Karoturni Karamoja de la Pioni Wata. Abu Rameli, Marapukan Toyi Karamoja. Narakin Kuntuma.
Honorable Speaker, 2 minutes are not enough for me, given the fact that the insecurity that we're talking about started in Karamoja, and we have contained the pain for 3 solid years. Allow me to put some information that this House requires. It is true that in 2010 there was a successful disarmament and Karamoja enjoyed peace and security for about 10 years. That is a fact. I commend the UPDF for an excellent job. It is true that during the disarmament exercise, the leadership of Karamoja persuaded the people of Karamoja to hand over their guns.
Anya paking na akamya KCC yengi de nliyo to tadia abidana knya na lorio la kunyai abia ya kotama mere kwangna to tingito ngidwe rai ngetwa ani community dang to tingto ejo.
Right, Honorable Speaker, the manner in which KCCA handled the children, they were manhandled as though they were criminals, and yet they were victims. The second thing that went wrong, the children were dropped in Koblin Center. Koblin Center is manned by the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. It's an institution made for rehabilitation of children, but it is meant to accommodate only 60 children. Now we have 161 there. My prayers are only three. One, that the Minister for Kampala gives this Parliament a clear and sustainable strategy for managing the issues of street beggars, with emphasis on dealing with criminals. Let's find out what they have for dealing with the criminality of child trafficking, rather than the easy target of children only. And the second prayer, Right Honorable, is for the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development to immediately respond to provide those children with basic needs that they need to stay in those centers as the district local government finds a way of reconnecting them with their families.
Anya purunya akoro na buke datang yo kotunga nulu ala karkapi ala toma Karamoja dadang anapa kada ne abu ramele adama toyata ni Karamoja toyata ka tunga nirika ngenarai aporo.
We found out that our people were starving and literally dying. I visited some villages, Naguliangolol village, where I found a burial of a family of 3. They had all died to starvation. As of last week, by Friday, documented deaths in Napak that had been verified were 46. In Kabong, there were 189. In Moroto, there were 45. In Kotido, they exceeded 300. Yes, we acknowledge there have been responses by the Office of the Prime Minister. On the 7th of June, food was distributed in Karamoja, each district settling for 150 tons of maize flour and beans, and it was targeting the most vulnerable. Unfortunately, the quantities supplied were not reasonable to feed a family for a week. Each family went for a kilogram of beans and about 3 of posho, which you consume for a meal or 2 and get back to your level. Now, as we speak, there are thousands of people. The food security report puts people at risk at a number of 518,000 people waiting to die if no action is taken. That's why I raised this matter now. I should have raised it on the 5th. My prayers are these: that the Parliament ask the Office of the Prime Minister to find food from whichever source, so that that the Office of the Prime Minister provides food. My colleagues and I believe that Uganda can manage to feed starving Ugandans. There are issues of procedures, of meetings, of discussions. Those can wait. Others can be handled as food is being transported home. The urgency is real. So any delay means lives lost. And it is a shame for a country like ours to have people die of lack of.
Anya pake ngina buni oloja. Kedata ngatu anga pepe. Abu ya le lo parliament. Parliament atama bukana dio adio karicha ke kwa ke ngatu ni rikari kide uno ngatu anka tunga.
Visited our people in Napak. A number of livestock farmers complained that there was some disease eating their livestock, and the disease had signs of foot and mouth. I inquired with the extension workers. They agreed with the farmers. I inquired with the Minister of Agriculture. He said he was aware. Right Honorable Speaker, an action needs to be done immediately, not just in Napak or Karamoja, in Teso, many parts of the country. The livestock sector contributes a lot to the economy. Anything that affects it affects our economy. And in these difficult times, we must take action when we are required to do so urgently.
Ani nirwangulo apuru nyoto yimu churungulo ibidenyo gine tenga tuanga velenga agawna ka ki atanakin ni deni uningal bionga miangari tamara dola million ani deni uni kidioko tamara ya ngalu budada ya egewni ta akademe ngetunga boro kalune tenga tunga abia tama bukan ke ya kichana yi ngebe beli akarini ko ni tunga.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you for the opportunity. The areas of dissent are few. One of them, on the performance of Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority over the last 5 years. Right, Honorable Speaker, while the 10th Parliament envisioned that UMRA would help provide for the licensing of Tier 4 actors, management and control of money lending business, establishing a SACCO protection fund and a SACCO saving protection scheme, it is worth noting that for the last 5 years, UMRA has not delivered on its mandate with the exception of issuing licenses to money lenders, a duty that can effectively be handled by any government department. UMRA has been concentrating on registration of people or firms interested in the money lending business and has made this its core mandate, yet it is only a process to the core mandate of regulation. UMRA has not demonstrated even the willingness to handle the other regulatory core mandates of financial stability and consumer protection. While UMRA slept on the job, the money lenders enjoyed a field day running the industry on their own to the extent of making citizens sign sale agreements of property in the guise of a lending agreement. Therefore, taking advantage of the illiteracy and vulnerability of our people, Parliament of Uganda exists to protect the citizens, and we are glad this amendment has come.
Aniapa kengina ayaya apuka ngedwe ya kulia kamunyo alo Kampala lo daria ngaya ni boko masulita abuya kalo ikapuka na tamara Parliament tamar kengara kene masulita nera ngede da ngulu emam akamuju imujete ngarakere nakede borom lui tanto agiyo kiunyo ngede anini kona emataken.
In January, in preparation for the events, the international events that our country was hosting, CISPOC, NAM, G77, government had to clean the street so that we have a beautiful picture when the visitors come. Among the from the cleaning, nearly 100 children were removed, those street beggars, and they were taken to Masulita together with the leadership of Napak and partners who supported us. 425 of those children were resettled in Napak and put in 3 schools. The partners have been supporting up to now when they are fatigued. I received a call on Monday from primary school teachers, head teachers that are keeping these children on our behalf, these victims of trafficking. They are overwhelmed with needs. The children don't have the food. They don't have even beddings, the medical condition. The teachers are overwhelmed. They were doing this duty on behalf of government. Now, my district wrote to the Ministry for Karamoja Affairs, to the Ministry for Disaster. There is no response. There is a risk that if the head teachers give up, those children could get back to the street. And that is the risk we want to avoid. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Education said that a policy is going to be out against boarding. If that policy is implemented, the future of these children and all the other children in our region will be bleak completely. They will not have education. It will mean that education is prohibited for that category of people. I have my prayers which I wish to submit. One of them is for the office of the Prime Minister to support and supply the immediate needs, food and beddings, for the 425 children who are in school now. They will not even go for holidays, because if they go for holidays, they risk being trafficked back to the street. That is my prayer number one. Prayer number two is for the Ministry of Education to stay that policy, to exclude Karamoja from that policy of banning boarding section. I submit.
Ani atamarete na bongi tela nguluche. Ngoni atamarete ngetela nguluche. Abi ani moya ta jongo tongo ngulupana chakar tonga kechetu alota ma anrem hawadia. Ani atamarete ngetela ngulu niwa kidenge Karamoja na list. Bani ara be ran kokolak. Hagu ya kota ma mere karcha gomna mere Karamoja da ran kokolak. Abukan to yi karcha nyeke chaka edwa.
That's the information that must sink in. Now, in 2006, when government launched a disarmament exercise in Karamoja, our people were told, those of you who have your guns, bring. And then they asked, how do we protect our livestock? And government said, bring the gun and also bring your livestock to a government protected kraal. Our people did that. The people of Napak, the Bokora people whom I represent here, were the first to hand over their guns. They handed over their guns and submitted their cows to a protected kraal. When they submitted their guns to the protected kraal, those communities in Karamoja that had not been disarmed ran over the protected kraal. You people of soldiers were even killed and took the cows of our people in the protected kraal. By 2010, all the animals in Bokora County were done. Now, in 2011, when the president was coming to campaign, people asked him that question. And he said, don't worry, government will compensate. Up to now, no compensation has happened. That there is a group of people in Karamoja who lost their animals innocently. Not only in Napak, in those other districts also. As if that's not enough. Every year towards election, they heave to election, December of the last year to election, the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs writes to our district cows, asking them to send lists of people who deserve compensation. And it's done. In the last election in 2020, December 2020, the list was again compiled. And nothing happens after the list is compiled. This year, I am sure the Attorney General is planning, together with the Minister of Justice, to do the same. The people of Karamoja deserve justice. I will tell you why our people are in Masindi. You think they took a tour there? No. In 1978, the government abandoned an armory in Moroto Barracks. The criminal elements went to the armory and came and ransacked everywhere in our community. Our people ran to Masindi. They are there up to now. There is a community that speaks Karamoja only. They have never returned home. It's not for tourism. It's because of that criminality. So when I see compensation being discussed and Uganda is thinking that Karamojans compensated themselves, that is unfair. We did not have the facts, and that's why you were laughing when Honorable Sylvia submitted. Yes, there was civil war in this country. It did not happen in only small parts. It happened everywhere in the country. If you want to talk about civil war, my father's village was burnt down 3 times consecutively. Every government that comes must burn it first. We have never been compensated. We have not even asked for it. So if we are thinking about compensating for political victims who suffered the political crisis, civil war arising from political change, it should cover the whole country. Every part of Uganda suffered. So that policy, I'm interested in that policy. In fact, I would recommend that the Attorney General, the Ministry of Justice, makes a consultative process for developing that policy. I am sure you will not think about it alone. You need our input in into that policy to help the country. I submit.
Thank you. Teach wrong. I did. Nahi elala ngulo teach ngulo papa ni kitia elala bongo chia dang ringa nitia teach ke member ke parliament arai ake kobar poroto angetuma alo parliament a Uganda.
Bali kwana nge bokorai ane tenge ni akodiko. Bali kwana nge bokorai loro tenge ni akodiko.
Kuna pewoni adhe honorable faith kape kankari ko ngchera to dakna ni rai na wathia to tinari happy kape honorable utara kwarti na krona kekre kini ndara tamare na pe kolong lo dikinti hapkanu na kenarem na krona kekre ani rai ekevil ngevi itopola yako agini wada halom na bakar mo jama kharong la ngal piangari yan tomono angkan komon hani kharong la ngal piangari yan tomoni ari ai pe ngina vere oni tara wada buringi apruno wi la kharmo jong kanu wi hanapa kale ba wada to tiama sabu na ba to wada kino wi atamara ko kukuma kharong na khawadi ai hari mutuma ame mo baran ara ko pini arai hawadi anu wi buana ba to sikna krona kekre halo kidiama la Kampala kana pak la Karamoja habuani ga kidan yake da lamdu arai lu aponi kini kunare ekvel Karamoja anabwal halo irir upe okopo ngare hayni lo to honorable hakini lo mutuma utara na krona kekre no khay kinya nga pamen no khay jom darem xam na khay kerang tuma hablo wo to la mutinya yo kinto na pa khani district yo muje roto khana blatu kotido kape kami yo ko njoto da ngula la to buto pa do mo na krona habuna bo kiti ya ta khape no kaping na khara DC haping na diso na police na khas to work wapiting baran kha kinyak na UPDF ni kapolo ngalo brigade hotel hata mare raingi tunga kibo yete jok raingi baran nyelemi ani mo apontere moda kinyak nai bo ngarak no wi na kramanga dimo aki atime na krong na kaya atime na krong na hakimiet alo sak ko tore baran ana bani ni abugana ni metinya mule ne ron kape peace committees ana bwal adbana kini metinya mul wala na bwal mama ya miloni ngawni ana womon ana buwa ni chena kichumet miloni ngawni opei to ma khayli ko mama na miloni ngakan abona rabo to muni no wi eti chumolo kekre to kona ibo yon kona right chulo mara ni yiti chulo kyara no wi ko tere bumnya ke Karamoja kana pak bogno do polotu to polotu ayoko
that the transition from insecurity to sustainable peace doesn't be rushed, that the withdrawal of the decline of the UPDF in Karamoja should not be rushed. Otherwise, the same criminal elements who came back in 2018 can come back fierce and worse than they were in 2018, and they could harm our people the more. That is my appeal, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, the second appeal, given the level of the orphans, the number of the orphans that this war created in this belt of the country, not just in Karamoja, in West Nile, in Acholi, in Lango, and in Karamoja, the statistics indicate that over 60% of our children are actually orphaned. Perhaps that's the reason we're having a crisis of teenagers whom we don't know how to deal with. It is my appeal that government will consider a special fund to support the orphans that have come up as a result of the war. I submit, Right Honorable.
Alata Mayor Tono Kaikigam, Napak District, Abonda Nakut Fay, Lato Make Puko,
kita gama kini duen kan kauni Rotoma University ana kilo mokech utuni tanapai berebe degree tongetake arokoni kan eruchurta kidom abuna bo Rotoma kepi na district man member of parliament idukan rovan tomon ana gamat metengena khafuka ne boko state house arkakibu mona na pedigree arpun kan kape ruchorta kidiom nabo alato meke puka edgama kentengi de kan komon ana kidiom na senior ki kan kape amakla ga una lo papa una senior ne boko o level niare alato makla ga una lo kidiama senior ne boko e level ipe engatake senior 6
Ara ka kro long ko mosis agim Napak secondary school ai nga kelas yang atomon nga akan kuman to kana ai akalu menga to mono kape sampai kelak tala kara kemat na pe na krai dianin ka pakat pedar ta ko ni ngara ki mana kara to muni ni ara abu krik to toneri abong lo gul an krai ngata gi abu syak ngara to syam ni to kana ai yakarna kana samna ga tala karno be king ngara gu taki atana ni tsimula ngaki akai ni ara ti akre ngona polo na gidiom ka
ngara kuno anya ka na bo na ra bo na kut fe to ki cholong ni ara kre ki ngara to kona erka ka sia 6 la kara na ra bol no ya ngara ki ne
atal garcha ore wana kut fe no we ngara ngi jauna ka kut tie yeti chimol ka kut so class na nga to kona ara class na to mo ka pe ne boko isine fo tarkan tambara akla jile jito diomi ketiono jeki asa putula kainta na kut ngam jatone buri anaknya.
I am in Kamal Girls Senior Secondary School. I'm being supported by the that's Honorable Nakut Loru Chuna, the woman member of Parliament, Napak district. She has been the one who pulled me out of this pride that I needed to join A level. Otherwise, I was not able to join. Just because I was able to get her help, that's why I'm in school right now.
Abuna bodam kingarak yubuklo akiyata kinyak buketa kana katapatani ara kidamangwe abu kingarak awliyo community school therapy million achukudu community school ko therapy million kana abu inake na kichumet nasari mleniongare ka agama ke school alo primary school amateur na ke uniform na mama mleniongawuni uniform igeluno.
I remember when I came here in June 2022, I was impressed to find some very good information in the office, which information was that during some day of women meeting in Napak district, and especially in Lopei, I was so surprised that day and happy that Madam Honorable Nakut gave to the school materials for the uniforms for both girls and boys.
Abu Nakut ikigana kiroa material abu kuturi yana yoko higilune uniform nukoko Nigabu jana kama na wa jikala to malo fi primary school.
Awatoto wame kulu la kokulo na community school. Abuante boke digana ke school. Kan nicho nga tumuniare uluke evi mit. Kaki ataki ngalpione mawani diama. Ani kinyataki nini? Abu vigana keneti atukot. Ani bokora ile choningi vilenga aktivema ngide ni boko Napak Education Trust. Alato mona ini ikinoliki yon atamar erhoni do niche ngedaka kana ngulo ka erengana bo niche dang galomara lo kuno ntomo kuna lo dikneta ngina haiki diomo na ejokare ngaren lato mangi karun le ponto
Nakutu ila kapulu nati apa ne onto dawo na ko ay ping na adaro ta eti yang di sido wala no ya cham tak to bugung yore ngakrong na ka de ka ngalew ane ko are lo mari ko lo parliament aboy ke ge wana mo to ka ne bo ambulance anyara e polo na pa anyara no way ambulance naga apone to gelo nai kichika na doctor mo alo mata ko tere gi jana ke ngbo korara dang eti ambulance na no way kijana ke tuma kijana ke ngabaru kan edwe kan kili kodang
Now, coming to the ambulance. Since 21, as I told you, it is in function. The first year, we had 335 ambulance calls done by this ambulance and covered 19,000 kilometers.
Ani alo yung marin, abuna ko to bugunyo ko are agto poloro ka te tolim. Eko ya daktari wala anyare, lo daktari wala nyuni, alo ke marang lo ka bukan. Ajar to na giduku ate tolim. Yo wadia ulu amake na kijana gidare en kadia kata ulu alalak no way. Kalau masih nyawa cia tak kena tolim. Abuna ko to gogonyo agito poloro ke daktari ang lalo irir. Eko el senta dre la el senta fo. Daktari wala poloni wala to dori aki jana kan to aloro tini wala lak. Yo kwa tare eviata wala yengere to wala dia kade. Yo polo to na irir ka yana duketa ngona lamut. Idia bukan to na uga kan ile ngalu alak. Ani ro lu aya kada de ngola corona abuna ko to kijana ke daktari ngola matani ke district ala Napak abu yao sanitizer aglava ka ngoro mishelo apato ke ngarakir ngeti ya kan daktarin agi jana kenya itu lu dia kada corona
alawai angolo kagangating grupo kini wana ba ko warang grupo ipe borengini ngara kente ngi hotwa abuna koto nowe ki ngara kin grupo lu alalak Napak karo ko kana boyro ko alalak alo to man grupo igama kene nowe grupo aloranga chora ye grupo lan kar ko aloranga chora abu ina ka million ngare e grupo la na mendara farmers million ngawuni e group la matarday women group ka ngole am lo en ngawni
wan so ikije o cer dada ani yo ni dora dam kita la karta wan dada ka ta la karta ba honorable ko cer ngi na bu na ngi ta mun ba na kala ngi na lu ni ngale ki ya ngatra ngi nga da do be ki ngara ki de bo eti yeg na reshe ti sida ni ko na lo pe do le re ngi de lu pe lu anta kay to to na mun ayro e ke na ki do de da in pe alo biro ni nyanya da pe do ni ngara ki re group lo pe yo ngara group da lo pe yo ko ta ko ngaber na lo kenga ayo mi ja kenga ni alo ayana kenga ya lo muno do de na da lo kenga te mun yo da na lo kenga ay nak na ni rai no ya to ni group lo se di ngai te da e di meta na boda na be di meta da ti cho te ngasha da to ma ko ni ya lo muno mo ta re ngi lo pe lo ya ngara ki ke che sani ke sedia ta kasi ngene ngalu ko te chucha ta ngene ya lemna ta ba ngene ngalu pe la ngene ngalu ku ba ka na kona sedi ke ko di wala e ni ko ni ko na ko ngara ke do alto ma bu janga ko na ba ti kala to ma lo pe ma si ganga ki da ni berbere ngala ne rai ne remne da ko di faidai e gele re da to kona ngi di e do nyere do wa ngai so do nyere da ngi ki ka kwa lu ko di te to nga ka ma ka berbere me lo do lo yonga yamune da e faida ko di alto man berbere itu kana anyune tara ki nyanga ite na kala de dio mambo ki diga ki dinke ti akada da shete berbere muti
e grupo ka pe tolim Catholic parish amilionin ngawni
e ke tala karet ko tere hay naknet ina bu toto yo hakapuloni yo Nakut fe inak e grupo ngolo hangabe arana kanika ngaya ka dingi borong lu dadang abu yang etia aya katere ada grupo ngulala lak ula dal tong to mon kepe den ngi to mon ngi unida mampa pedor ta dolo kindada wayong na ayi boring na tingi ta dari tingi borong abu hayong ade we pe grupo loto ma khani na polonia aina ke pe grupo kotere hagela nkinyon ka kitakin ini amai kena kesku wa kidin kesho borong
amiloni ngawuni e grupo la matani lo kopo la cheketa da duko ape million
na yo na ngele nga million na bugena ga kono ga nya mi ngele ngawu kono wa ngele lu buga na lo grupo tamarai e buga ga de ni ete e poida ete grupo to fe yoda
e grupo la narod women's group ape million e grupo lo unato la ngamalimo amiloni ni ngare e grupo lo ngamalimo lo akangole ss wa senior amiloni ngawuni.
With this group, it happened at one time that our honorable member of parliament, Honorable Nakut Faith, happened to be an OG of this school. Then she paid a visit in one of the functions that we invited her to be the guest. Then when she came, we engaged her and also introduced ourselves and the group to her. And being our nature of being supportive, she happened to buy the idea very fast and promised to support us with 3 million. And I remember that function was thanksgiving for awarding students, best performing students in A-level and O-level, and the teachers. She happened to be the guest. We celebrated together. Then on that very day, when we sold the idea to her, she gave us the 1 million instantly that very day. Then promised to give additional 2 million with time. Then within a short period of time, like 2 months after that, she happened to fulfill it and brought the 2 million through our assistance, one of our entourage that she worked with. So I want to say I'm very grateful for her support, and I wish such leaders, we have many of them in Uganda, such that we support ourselves, we support the community, we support the people whom we serve, and they get the best of our services, the way she's giving to us.
We pray, may God give her a long time.
Igakent a group on la Matan youth Pigari. Bunak a support la American Kari, a Gelani Pegay. Abunabane Kigaki Nitongu Itiate Bishara. Nitongu and Niton Tomonuni. Alotoma, and Niton and Piamea Uni. Kano way the Narabi accusing a Nangiton de Linga and Millennium Tomonuni. Kanabo a rocking group of Lalak, Itanto Agnet. Neither Kona, no way, Bakarnede. Ediaman Kanda Dakape, Idio, Anete Pitolo, Igangler and Group of Munishada, Niara, Apollo, Aeropo.
Te yong na bo ani woni na agwetere ponta krimuni otala ngana pakadada apone triamna ngi duklo ulcha kata gitu torgo da kviom aye mamo hakai akladia apone kawarakna edukulu mulana mendera ababati ngatomon kan kapej Kotara ngarakna ngi der ba tamara ikidi da to diometa lotuli mawla jokon
ikela kara wanga drona abuna to kana kala kara da nga bakira ni adiru ko ida yamu tungi sani kina kona na kira kini yoko kulo gukun ikira kiro ko kulo gukun yama mune ni egione ai dirina yama me fiti ala kari to kana kara nga bakira ni to ke wona ba to na ko jana te
na kachuna badam poni nakna abati na to mun kan kapei
What of value to Honorable Nakut Chuna for donating our science sheets to our school, St. Daniel Komboni Nursery and Primary School.
Kono kya atomon kan ka pay arenge puadam panina kana ambati atomon kan ka pay loka pello atomon mon ini aroba ku bokong do ni audio umri ang ala pandang atomon yari lobok ngatomon ni farau tu dadang lo kan kare yo panina kana dadang ngababati ngame ngawuni yang atomon ni ana bani ndang yang kele yai ini lipere wani pe ini mamu padu kita jok pone nakana inkele dia ini uni roku poi Catholic Chapel nakana ngabati ngatomoni uni kauta ko Church of Uganda ngabati ngatomoni uni kapi jamatan ngabati ngatomono mon angkan kauni rada ngabati pe miata angkan kauni apa negangere inkele dia uni pona bunga lekna yamnai ita tikistai wo katata meton apotun kan kauni klereut na kana ngolo katikistai babat ngatu muniare hangumon hotere agobaknya akacha kaif epi padar tedang pasta ponena kana bol pasta nyari ponena kana ngulu ngabat ngatu muniare hangumon dadang abatu apa ni kobak na katikistai reverend ka pasta tarau dadang ame yang hari yang tumunkan ka yang umon ana banin dang ya kalen tunga ya ni qoriyo abatu no tu ya nang tunga tamare na kana tadang tu ya no torpuna yang tunga kan ina kana udang abatu ngatumun umon.
I am Father Michael Akuyo, Archpriest like Catholic Parish. Again. About na kena ngara ngatu mulu mana kan kawini ya tadi kan ko ngatu ngara mulu motor ngatu ngara reli ale logo ole siara ta ba hol pol mama nege ta mi yol ko tebini sala har ngara me we ne ona rabo la tamun iketi ka ka ko to lo ya ka yolo ne mam tani jini ke sala kara ka polo ni ara no we atamun ni ara na pe pa na to ya nganya apa ala kar ni ara no ya tamun na polo ngetena no we ya kiro Elia ya katikista ngola alorangnya cara nege ala Karamoja
batu muna abu apit kona rebol to korak ngetungol dadang itu kulo kele vijay katikista poto dolong abati apeli put Elovion waren era na ngone abadi ulushia tonga
ni akaruga lo school Kampala aponi ka school aboko malaika vocational and institute so ke azalo school ngolo Kampala ni aponi ra ka ko school asbiya la pala kan kauni dana ni ngon ke graduate ngado la pala ngomo this very graduate ngado ni boko lugo bypass dana aponi ra aponi na ikina na bunira kan transport kinya kuni abu fei kina ke 103 million rama periodics kina ngeza 3 million kama medwe to ona anar kana tebe kudikos yani to the skills data pedor tele kitia etisha wako kamera yani to akala ga bonga Nairobi patinya kapto logo to pagi kina tawa dio pagi to geran kudiboro to kepangau takai
ya lama yara te sa college musi so akota selama kini honorable MP Dr. Nakut anake kangata no bu si jay kinte semerolo do yala masitunga noi
Honorable Faith supported us with financial support. Our commitment and support and our empowerment went further when the time her and her team organized a job readiness training at Karamoja Senior Secondary School. This training equipped me with the knowledge of CV writing, job searching, cover letter drafting, and it later earned me an appointment at NERA Admira as a registration assistant.
Okay, ikilakarang orang ator katakan. Abuk ngarak, aku tuh mau makan rekepi.
Karena aku tuh kayak bisa ya unatara kita reba na ita apa nih kita apa ntalam lagi.
Yung mama na ko to agro ngoni ngona buyo tiya kwa tiga ngana buyo ke ako la Karamoja agiri ko to buyo tiga ngana ngaragi jo ngaragi Karamoja to ko na ba amayra tiga ngana ngaragi.
Thank you. I am John Paul Correct, the district chairperson of Napak district local government. I am glad that today I would like to mention the coordination that I've been having with the MPs, especially the woman MP, in as far as sub-delivery is concerned. I want to thank God that our coordination has yielded a lot of results. We have interfaced and coordinated with Honorable Faith in many aspects of life, most especially on sub-delivery. One, we coordinated the issue of health services in Napak, especially the upgrade of Health Center 3 to Health Center 4, and that is really to Health Center 4, and the construction of the new Health Center 3s, especially Poron, Loru sub-county. These are the two sub-counties that we form. They did not have any health services. And then I told him to be upgraded to Health Center 3 from Health Center 2. So this is a huge milestone. We coordinated that together with her in the Ministry of Health, where we stayed for about 6 hours waiting the minister to give us hope. And I want to inform you, we are giving back the feedback, a very positive feedback with quotations, and now I want to report that a letter of no objection from Italian Corporation has been already cleared, that come January, those two new health center 3s will be constructed in Poron. One of the vivid evidence of our collaboration with Honorable Faith is the issue of the council hall that you just see behind there. We had a meeting with the minister together with the Honorable Faith on the 27th of November 2023. And so, because of that engagement, the lengthy engagement we had for almost like 2 hours, we are very appreciative to the government of Uganda. They listened to us. Now they allocated us 400 million. And come next month, the council hall is going to be raised, and that is a bailout, a barren bailout.
Yini wanda da tamar na tuketa kakili koringi kanidai koringi kelidhiai ikidhino woi yini ta kipotor poroto kori akikeon epitongolo kaklo chokinet kori akitopola kwap aloto mankar mumonulu alunyar abonde bona kutfe kijana ken kanidai dadang akanidai katolika akanidai ngola them the church of Uganda akanidai ngolo kanidai ngolo kole kaya kanidai ngola nyo kaitotoi ngidlam alo kaitinalo abumono anyegari tokelu ni kicholongo apeli putanga men kan kare akiliga kenya kuri akilingara kenya ikanidai alo toma kechekilip abu tokoran kanidai lu anangete nga atomon nyamon angolo kanidai ayana kentai kicholongo ngatomon kan anin abunabo kingole katamar alo toma nga bananga che yakade anaban anake yamwa tukazada ne yakade atonara ko ni epitoloki boykine tangitonga butodalo ngitente angomon angolo tenti boykine ngitonga lo nangete apemiat to me patent sala to man ngitente ngomon butokoraki communities ngomon kana bo enakana bon kicholongo apemiat angolo community amola korakentai iborolo akidagana kenya akiboyono kena lo to ma banane ya kauneni lo kanira ko relo community ngo anin aloto ma kanisa ngola Catholic abonda bona kut faith to bialak chapel ngona lokopo arumunyo ngona gel no kota de ngel nga ngamilo no ngare ngamyang kan akil ngara ken akil lip
Kristo ata kaya kide ata kaya bari di bani ke ye gore ki podo ta mali ni na ke nai gore di na ke ngel ko wa ga riya mu ta wana ina be atala ke mata ni ala ke na ko gora ma ya ni ko ya yo ki na gre ye yo mo ni ko ya pa ya ike oni todo na mata ni ma ke ya ga ni me se ko ni ara ni todo ko na me ni me te mana
raya yang chapa sini na ya chapa la logo so ala kara yang ni ape sina put kotere nga ko di yona pa ni dai na kina nyedi apo dikile pa na pa ni dai na kina nyedi ngwa ngwa gwe yi
tama yo fe na ko tama yo de e ke mai ma giya ku ni ara apone loba albe na gir ya kam ya kartar nga kala na ala kadang be gir ke secretary kele pai amara pa agoroja ngarang na ki bo ni kira ni ara ki bo ni ni pala punya tari apa kalian jatuh di ngari sama yang ini dek memang agak ya dek lakar nuya tonton di rumah kan deh tamu itu rokok ba tapi kalau bisa tuh katanya
abu nabo kigangak Catholic chapo Korea chapo kanarang lo amatan parish kanya galenga pe miliona no munu mata kivi apak no munu mata kivi na kacha bana muna ke parish kana boku doko ngi nga ngamya kan ka pe ngula gilere ngi cholongo kana kanela abunai tina bo aloto manga tuketa mu boko na charismatic ngabarna charismatic mona pe ke kanela matan abuena kilga nga kote nga milenyo are kan keta tukono kina kilip ko alo veneni bore be conferences abuna bani ndang tamunte ne tulwore reng padera lato mamoroto irir ka ni tuluar la to man kan ra semi sedang ko khona ak tuluar na padara na ye ka ngole kan na ye mata ete ya ngi bela ngulu abunye be ke ga ngakene ak tuluar ten padara na butolo todolo ngamilo no atomon abuna lo to ma kan ra ngla semis aboni e kan la ka ngole cha chu Uganda to be live mit kan ngwa ne te har to ngamlo no ngawni amyan kan na kan ak duk kan ra e ka to nga eruchono kinelo ikonlo yebari kitane wala chametai tumana ni ele erucho kene tingi tunga lo toma akeche clip koreano bit
ani monikiniti ngatomo na kangulu ngopiginto itichilio abuana rebon Nakut ripiginya tamare tona lo toma ko pindadang ngatomo na ngopiginto itichilio no oi ani aroto ma ke ma de kenete ka ke wedi angna ali piangare atomoni ara ipei abuna koto ya apedura kan kapei ho school la Malaika Vocational and Business Institute ani aneni abutata change delenga a milioni atomoni uni aipei abuna boya ijeni kan kauni kama pedura kan kare School Guru Samaritan Vocational Institute Gulu Nia bunyo tatashang amiliorin atong maniare ang umon Erushoret Abunaboya ngebe luya nangiting tomon kepei School mo Roto Vocational Institute Tarana itoman na koroto ngolerete ne peine ngapeguru akan kare kangidian ngomon potong dulu togioma nkosio ulu kamera motokai ka potonga peduru togioma nkosio ulu acaran abu tata jange lenga a miliona kan kapei abu nabo ya ngi dia ini ngomon sorot potere age tetekinya e training olo pay apa tuge ji kwar gi tiata lo gulu abu tata chale ni nga milioni ni ngakan abu nabo to repika tamare e ya nyedo ngolo rekana inete e university lakini ipiyorete pitongolor ko ene tingi chidio abu kristian ke delenga a milioni nga tomoni are aya oni atongi ni training ay yedwe igen kanga peduru e pitongolo ki grada akar tadia ngulu ngulu atakamne tangi chidio apone aneni ki training ay nga tomo naka atomoni kan komona kan kauni ani mabane ni abuking arake ngatomo nakankan alotoma social welfare paka eringa rubakinete ngarana kini ngetunga noi alakara
eringa yo dange potoro ayu kotona se kwankar ngo mana banguni akudi ketemonkin ek joko rakongen arang tomo nankanda kiana ken koringa tomoniare karu lagi yo lujik yo lujik adite yo tanyo yo ya won ko yini adeni na ikayong ngeti ikiya
alatauno adauto nakutu pe adauto nakutu kuriang adauto nakutu kuriang papa adauto nakutu kuriang arene jagri apedi moro enye tunga erai kire jaga tangi tunga agu jape ilo lola rege kijauni gogwin munakire ramaji ali mukidori gogwin kire lugila na buto imarikine tengi tunga nakire lara doluni na paga lara pedido to the pain never I ayo gondi the pain never ayo gondi the pain ayo gondi Iyan igorong tonga yoda rikitai igorong tonga yoda lukuru igorong tonga yoda madivan igorong tonga yoda sapania igorong tonga yoda wakuma igorong tonga yoda difiri igorong tonga yoda saimoni igorong tonga